And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds.
January 16th, 2012, we here on the spot. It's ML King Day. We have our senator, State Senator John Sampson, the minority leader in New York State. How are you, sir?
Hey, well, thank you very much for the invitation to the show today.
Welcome on the spot again. Senator has been here. This is home. Family member. With MLK Day here, this is what we're going to talk about first. The Voting Rights Act of 65. Today, at this day and age, is still an issue. Can you elaborate on that for our audience?
Well, yesterday Martin Luther King would have been 83 years old, and we're honoring him today with a lot of events throughout the city, throughout the state, and throughout this country. But I think when you talk about the Voting Rights Act, and see the position that we were back then until now, there has been a vast improvements. Can we improve a lot more? Yes, but I think we're on the right course. If you look at government and you see the role that people are playing, particularly in the minority community, are playing in politics, some would, back at that period of time, no one would have thought the level and the height that minorities play in politics at that point in time. But there are still some issues that exist, and we can't move away from that. That's why it's important, especially those who are in power, that we talk about the Voting Rights Act, and we talk about the inequities in certain situations and circumstances. His dream, a lot has been accomplished. However, there is yet more to do.
If Martin was here today and you could talk to him, what would you talk to him about?
You know, what I would talk to him, first of all, like anything else, you would basically thank him for laying the foundation. What happened was, through his lifetime, his 39 years, people threw a lot of bricks at him. But what he did was he took those bricks to build a foundation. And if you look at the foundation that exists, it is a job well done, but most of all, that a foundation that is stable and sturdy because of what he did and the legacy that he has left for all of us. And that's one thing I would thank him. But also I say, you know what? We still have a lot of work to do. The foundation has been laid, but now we need to start building the floors. And we talk about economic injustice. We talk about educational injustice that exists. And the level playing field that still is not there yet for all people, particularly minority people.
Dr. King was one of the greatest leaders of this country's ever had. Speaking about leadership, you're the minority leader, former majority leader of the state senate. How will you, when you get that power, how would you lead the Democratic Party, and what is your plans for the Democratic Party?
My plans for the Democratic Party is, one, to regain the majority. When we were in the majority, we did some phenomenal things. We were in the majority during a very difficult period of time where there was a tremendous budget deficit, and we closed those tremendous budget deficits. My goal and my purpose is, one, to concentrate on jobs, but also what has been left out in this dialogue has been concentrating on women in the workforce. understanding the vital role that women play in all aspects of politics and society. We need to concentrate more on them, give them the support that is needed, everything from education to economic, and also talking about women reproductive health. And when you talk about it, was very interesting what Mitt Romney said on a debate, I think last Sunday, where he talked about if elected a president, he would overturn Roe v. Wade. And, I was kind of disheartened when I know one of my colleagues, Senator Skelos, who's a majority leader, supports Mitt Romney. That in and of itself is a telltale hard issue that is the fabric of what this country is all about, choice.
Mm-hmm. A woman's choice.
A woman's choice.
The men keep having not to interject, but the men keep having their opinion and want to inject their opinion on women's issues. And their right to choose.
And especially when a considerable number of women, and I like to speak truth to power, women are raising children alone.
Yes.
Single parents, raising an entire household alone, sometimes even raising an entire community alone. So we need to step up and understand that freedom of choice that they have, we need to be very mindful of that.
Okay.
So those are issues that I'm concerned about. The job issues, dealing with women reproductive act, also dealing with the healthcare exchange, which Senator Obama has set out, which New York hasn't adopted yet because the Republicans refuse. They keep calling it Obamacare. As a result, they refuse to pass it. And we're in tune to losing close to over $100 million. So that is another issue. When we talk about mandate relief, which is basically those cities, those local cities and those local counties who have enormous expenses, although we have a 2% property tax cap, which is good.
Okay.
But at the same time, we have to have mandate relief. There's necessary reform so we can continue to keep their expenses down. Because if you have a 2% cap, but at the same time these expenses continue to go up, what are we talking about? It's about consolidation. This is what the governor has talked about. It is about reducing spending, and this is about looking for other forms of economic growth and development.
Reducing spending in what way?
Reducing spending in the way government
on the backs of people of color.
When I'm talking about reducing spending, we're talking about reducing spending on the government side. Our agencies that can be consolidated and merging, reducing those spendings, reducing. The governor closed 3,500 beds in the prison systems. Those are costs that are being reduced and that we can recoup, and we can drive into the economic development.
How much money? How much money did that save us?
Basically, last year we closed a $10 billion budget deficit. $10 billion.
No, wait. Let me rephrase it. Mm-hmm. The 35,000 you said beds was closed in the jails. Mm-hmm. And that saved us $10 million?
No, it's not what it saved. It saved us millions of dollars.
Okay.
With respect to reducing those beds. But most of all, instead of concentration, by reducing the beds, we're also funneling money into programs to help individuals, because not everybody is a violent criminal. So we are creating programs to steer some of those youth from getting into the criminal justice system. So instead of putting all our money on the back end, what we're doing is we're putting our money on the front end, providing preventive measures. Take, for example, the $75 million in the Youth Works initiative that was just passed this past December, when we came back up to Albany to do what we call that surcharge, that millionaire's tax on those individuals who are making $2 million or more. Basically, what we did was we made the tax code more fair. It's about my 2 points. It's about fairness and it's about equity. It's about those who put into the system, those who are asking to sacrifice, are not on the backs of the middle class and working class people.
What made the governor change his mind? I mean, that was something that he was against, if I'm not mistaken, for a good while. And he finally changed his mind and said, we're going to charge the millionaires to make them pay their fair share.
I don't think it's anything about the governor changing his mind. The governor was in a position, when you look at it, we were $350 million shortfall. We were looking at close to a $4 billion budget deficit this year. It's like anything else. Things change. Environments change. And we saw that if we're going to make a change, it's not just a change and just asking the millionaires to pay more. It's about changing the entire tax code, providing breaks for the middle class and the working class, and at the same time increasing on the back end those who have benefited a lot, those who are making, $2 million or more.
Okay, we're coming up on a break in a quick second, but we want to talk about that budget. And the budget, we're going to start off, we're not going to be able to finish it, but we want to start off with this budget you did say you project. Matter of fact, let's take a break real fast, and we'll come back and we'll discuss that right after this break from our sponsors on ML King Day.
Thank you very much.